The Big Ten East is stacked. But is it the best division outside of the SEC West? This is a very interesting question, right? It's actually posed by producer Cat, and I think it's an interesting question because I've been saying so, right? But now we got some data. We got some points. We got some games played. Michigan's win against Wisconsin, right, basically means that they're owning the Big Ten West outside of Iowa, okay? It's also that we didn't really expect Michigan to be great, right? We might have expected them to be decent. But coming off of last year, especially with Jim Harbaugh having this contract that only pays him for winning and for doing well, we were like, man, Michigan are going to have to put up or shut up, and we didn't really see the offense to be there. We didn't see the defense to be there. They lost their defense or their secondary coach to Buffalo as head coach. You had to bring in a new defense coordinator, Mike McDonald from Baltimore, and then John Harbaugh was not excited to lose Mike McDonald to Ann Arbor, but he loves his brother, and he wants his brother to do well. And then you're looking at the way that Jim Harbaugh, King Kaki, want to play football, and you're going, yo, man, murder ball ain't going to work. And yet murder ball seems to be very much in vogue in college football this year, in large part because the quarterback play has been bad, but the defense has been outstanding. All to say, this is the kind of football that Michigan wanted to play when they hired Harbaugh. But is it the year in which they can actually do that thing that they ain't done since 2011 to beat Ohio State? Put it another way. They're off to their best start since 2016. We said that, right? 5-0. You know what happened when they played Ohio State in 2016? They lost, okay? You're going to need a little bit more. But the depth in the Big Ten East, my goodness. It's Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, all undefeated. And the preseason Big Ten favorite and the defending conference champ, that's Ohio State. They got one loss, okay? I'm saying Rutgers, Maryland, two teams at the bottom of the Big Ten East right now. Who are their losses to? To a world-class Iowa that is pushing for the college football playoff, and to a world-class Ohio State that, if it runs the table, stands a doggone good chance of getting into the playoff. Like, that Big Ten East is stacked. And it might be more stacked than the SEC West, but at least right now, I'm very confident that it is the second best division in all of football. I'm also going to add this here. Penn State's big win against Auburn and Michigan State's big win against Miami drives this home further to me, right? Remember that Maryland and Rutgers were undefeated in non-conference play. Their losses come to conference opponents and class conference opponents. I'm saying, like, maybe Kevin Warren might actually want to, look at this whole division thing and just tear it up and just have them play as many times as you could possibly have them play. Because the division is not helping you, especially in a year in which Wisconsin is bad, Minnesota ain't great, Purdue ain't great, Nebraska, 56-7 tonight. Look at you, Nebraska. I'm so high. I'm so excited for you, but you still ain't good. That's kind of my point, right? You really want it to be someone else challenging Iowa, but right now it's Iowa versus the Big Ten East, and you better hope that Iowa is, something like undefeated against the Big Ten East champion, but maybe not because Penn State might go ahead and get a W. Next week's going to be all kinds of awesome. That's the big noon game too. Man, your boy going to have these TVs stacked up. He got the OU Texas game. He got the Penn State Iowa game. I love this sport. All right, next question we got to talk about. Should Georgia be the number one team in the entire country? All right, first, that we're even asking this question speaks to UGA being elite, like super elite, like super legit. Like, I was skeptical, because one of my rules is who'd you play? Where'd you play them? What'd you do? You know how we feel about this Clemson team. Like, I was first to say, I don't think they're that good. They're not that good. The way that they did not move the football against Georgia. And then you also get to see that, Georgia's defense is, on the level of Ultron with all 6 Infinity Stones. If you're not up on that What If episode, get up on that What If episode because he's absolutely cutting Thanos in half. and he's coming for the watcher. Like, that's what UGA's defense is clicking on. But then when Clemson, they go and take 2 L's in 4 games, you don't know what to do with them. But then again, there's this. Who's going to score 21 on UGA this year? And I'm asking that honestly. Is Alabama capable of scoring 21 on UGA? Because they got these dudes, man. They got these absolute monsters in the middle. Nakobe Dean out here absolutely throwing up the hooks. We got Jordan Davis over here. We got Jalen Carter over. Like, Nolan Smith coming off the edge. You're not throwing on them. Like, I was amazed, quite honestly, that they could stop Kendall Browse and Arkansas from doing anything at all. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Ole Miss showed you can't gamble and expect to win, right? Unless you're sharp. And there are only 2 teams in college football right now, let alone the SEC, that are sharp. UGA is one of them. Like, when you got that kind of defense, it don't matter what you want to do on offense. You want to run the football? Fine. You want to run full house backfield? Fine. You want to run the flex bone? Fine. You want to run the bone? That's fine too. Because the defense is going to stop anybody from doing anything. Again, Arkansas is good. UGA is just super elite, dude. Like, that's just what it is. They are all pro levels of Madden over there. And then there's this. I'm not going to rank Georgia the #1 team in the country. Why am I not going to do this? It's not just because Alabama stumped a mud hole in and walked dry Mississippi. It's also because Nick Saban owns his assistants. That includes Kirby Smart. When Kirby Smart, Nick Saban play football, Kirby Smart comes home with the L, as in lehu, zeher. Okay? Till then, keep winning football games. I can't wait for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That'll be fun. Florida fans, what's up? What's good? You doing all right? How's your night going? You seen the video? Seen the video where the dude put the actual alligator in a trash can? Producer Cat asked me straight up, "Hey RJ, would you do that?" Hell no. I'm not even doing that with no iguana. No. Oh, he had this thing over here where Charlotte was doing this thing, and she over here talking to tigers and stuff. You must got me messed up. Talking to no tigers? I got a hard time with dogs. Gators. But I'll talk noise Florida fans. Who runs the ACC now? It's a very interesting question. It's also a sad question because it ain't Clemson. And it's been that way for a decade. In a literal decade. We got 14 teams in this conference. Only one of them is undefeated now. And it ain't the one that anybody thought would be undefeated. All right, but let me walk through this right quick. UNC, we thought they were going to be good. We thought they might challenge Clemson for supremacy. Then they took an early L to Virginia Tech, which is fine. We thought Virginia Tech was good. I thought they were good. I ranked them. Then they turned around and lost to West Virginia, which is fine. Until West Virginia lost to Texas Tech today, which would have been fine, except Texas Tech got 70 dunked on their head by Texas, who got dunked on their head by Arkansas, who got absolutely destroyed by Georgia. You get what I'm saying here? You see how this thing works out? So that's UNC. Then I keep looking down and I keep going through. I thought Boston College would have got it done tonight. They did not. They did not. They had an opportunity to win it late. I'm watching this game, dog, because, I take a lot of pride in watching all the football, right? Because I want my top 25 to matter. I'm not going to bed. I'm not watching the games that are just ranked. I'm watching them all, right? I get off this thing. I'll go into the living room. I'll catch up on what I missed. I'll watch all the way through till 1 a.m. in the morning. But my point here is I'm watching Boston College, and they are inside the red zone. They doggone on the 1 yard line with an opportunity to not just go get 6, but to win this game 20-19 with the extra point. And my man gonna fumble the snap. Clemson gonna recover. So Boston College is out, which means we are left with 5-0 Wake Forest carrying the mantle for the ACC. Not Clemson, not Florida State, not UNC, not Virginia. Wake. The Demon Deacons. Winston-Salem. Fine. Let's assume, for the sake of this argument, Wake Forest runs the table undefeated. They make the playoff? Do they make the playoff? I mean, there ain't no Pac-12 undefeated champion. There ain't no Big Ten undefeated champion. You got to say Big 12 runs the table because Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are still undefeated. And, SEC is going to be there regardless of what I think or what you think, quite honestly, because everybody's in this consensus. They got two teams that'll be in. Yeah, okay, look, Wake Forest getting in. And that one-loss SEC team, bet not. They bet not. They bet not. But wait, you got 7 more games. Run it, baby. Run it. Win your conference championship. Show me what you got. I don't think you're gonna, but Monique, I would like to see it. Now, this question, interesting. Is Cincinnati's win the biggest in school history? Are they the hope for a G5 team to make the playoff? First question, or first part of that question is easy to answer. Yes, it is the biggest win in school history. This is only the second time that Cincinnati has had an opportunity to play Notre Dame, and it came 121 years after the last time they played Notre Dame. Wasn't none of us around. They also had to play that game at Notre Dame Stadium, which means that they needed to get paid for their time. Of course, at the time this game was scheduled, I don't think Notre Dame expected to be the number 9 team in the country staring up at the number 7 team in the country. I certainly don't think that they expected to be the dog at their home stadium against the Bearcats from Cincinnati. And I know they didn't expect to be emptied of $1.2 million of their own money. And they win to Cincinnati. Now, all that being said, it ain't just that Cincinnati is undefeated. It's that Brigham Young is also undefeated, and they got twice as many top 25 wins as, Cincinnati. Y'all just love Cincinnati, which gets back to this idea. The cachet they earned in 2020 has carried over with the AP voters, which I think will carry over to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee's rankings because those things are pretty similar. Like the variance between the playoff committee's rankings and the coaches poll is a little bit different, but the AP is the one that we most trust outside of mine. Because, it's 60 dudes that care, Or I think they care. I think most of them care. I think most of them care. Point there being, after what Cincinnati was able to do, running the table undefeated to get to the Peach Bowl, and then acquit itself well against the Georgia team that we're all calling, Ultron levels of savage. Yeah. Everybody thinks that the Desmond Ridder last year and that team is good. And then you get a W against, honestly, your defensive coordinator and architect last year in Marcus Freeman. You're able to get a win against Brian Kelly running 3 quarterbacks, which is the thing we got to talk about, man. Like, we'll get to it here in a bit, but you can't keep doing this. I mean, you can, because you got to keep all your quarterbacks, happy. Or maybe you're just burning their red shirts to make sure they don't leave. But Brian Kelly played Drew Pine, Jack Cohn, and Tyler Buckner. Lincoln Riley played Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler. Jim Harbaugh played J.J. McCarthy and Cade McNamara. Like, I get it. We all scared of the portal. But it's kind of like in this business. I'm going to tell you what I think. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll talk about that. We will admit that. Matter of fact, we got this running thing on the show where producer Cat's like, yo, RJ, time to roast yourself. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Like the Florida State thing. I've owned that. When we start playing games, the calculus change. But I'm saying, have a stance. Pick a quarterback. Make that your dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for your dude to feel like he is the dude. It's hard for your dude to get in rhythm. It's hard for your football team to rally behind the dude you know is most responsible for you winning a football game or losing a football game. It's reality. I get that it ain't going away. I'm just saying, in some cases, make a hard edge. Act like you the dude making $6 million a year. That's what I'm saying. All right, for Cincinnati, though, there's a scenario in place where BYU, Coastal, and Cincy, all finish undefeated alongside the SEC, ACC, Big 12 champ. And that's really the rub there because we got these really smart people who decided that among the Power 5, only 4 teams should play in a playoff. Look, I make this argument a lot, and I'll continue to make it. I root for the Oklahoma Sooners. We're really good at softball. We're legendary at softball, okay? Routinely, we are chasing records in softball. Patty Gasso is the greatest coach in the history of this state, period. That includes Bob, Coach Switzer, Coach Wilkerson, all of them. And they would all cop to this. What I'm saying is, we got this thing called a tournament. You might call it a playoff, where Oklahoma, who has been doing nothing but murdering other softball teams, shows up to play in regional, and then a super regional, and then this little thing called the Women's College World Series in the capital city of Oklahoma called Oklahoma City. Played at this thing called ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. Nobody expects Oklahoma to not win it, and still, oh my God, UCLA pops up. James Madison gives you an L. Washington is good. Like, why do y'all think your sport is so terribly different from any other sport? I don't understand this. Even the FCS has a 2014 playoff. It don't hurt nobody. In the Pioneer League, San Diego goes and beats up everybody, gets the automatic qualifier bid, and then gets sunned. Nobody's mad. Why are you? What are you afraid of? So if your team is able to go and wax Coastal Carolina and your team is called Bama, great. But that one time, Coastal Carolina get in your grill, keep you from winning a national championship because you got beat on the scoreboard, then what you gonna say? Saying, man, I'm tired of being surrounded by a bunch of people scared to take a whooping. Expand the playoff, 16 teams. You got 10 conferences, 10 automatic qualifiers. Let your committee pick the other 6 at-large bids. Let's go to work. What are we doing here? I got a segment on this show called Money in the Bag. You know what I mean? What are we making fun of? We're making fun of you filling out your schedule with teams that you ain't supposed to lose to. Okay? That's why it exists. Because we're trying to get this out. Every game matters. The hell it does. Come on, man. You ain't the degenerate that is paying for no pay-per-view game to watch Oklahoma put 76 up on Western Carolina. Chill out. All right. Finally, here's what I care about, right? As we talk through these playoff rankings here on Selection Sunday. The first thing, are you undefeated? Like, I'm being serious right now. Are you undefeated? Do you have one of these on your head? Because you got one of these on your head. Take a seat. You in my hands now. You did that. You lost. You in my hands. Okay, that's the system. Iowa, Penn State, Michigan State, all undefeated in the Big Ten. Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, all undefeated in the SEC. Oklahoma State, they undefeated in the Big 12. Hope Bedlam is worth it this year. Wake Forest, carrying the banner for the ACC. And then we got Pac-12, which has 12 losers in it. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Make it easy. You want to pick a college football playoff national championship? Show me the dudes that didn't lose. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I'm looking for this. Who did you beat? I'm about being serious. Who did you beat? Because if, let's say you beat number 8 Arkansas at home, that matters. You beat Clemson on a neutral field when we all thought Clemson was good, that matters because guess what? It don't matter what you think about the ranking at the time. It's out your hands. You put it in the hands of the AP voters. You put it in my hands. You know what I'm saying? All right? Which leads me to number 3. What was their ranking when you beat them? I'm serious. What was the ranking? Because if it was number 3 and it was Clemson, it matters. You can't retroactively change the ranking. That's what the future stuff is for. That's why I take my ranking so seriously. It's why I had Florida at number 24. Okay? Where you are ranked, whether you are ranked, matters. I put a premium on the first 2 things. Are you undefeated? Make it simple for me. Cool. Who did you beat? Okay? Who? If they're a blue blood, like Oregon beating Ohio State, that matters. You lose to unranked Stanford, that matters too. Who did you beat? Where did you beat them? Right? Did you beat them on the road? Did you on a neutral site? Matters. Okay? I care about what these rankings were. I care about who you played, where you played them, and what's your record. Okay? So I don't want to hear from nothing from no Florida fans with 2 losses in 5 games. I don't want it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing about, hey, we have a 2-point loss to the best team in college football at home. No, you lost. See, that word matters so much here. We played 12 games. 12. Small sample size. Okay? I don't want to hear nothing about the rest of the season. And only 12 of them up. I'm trying to expand it so we get more on a larger sample size. And here you are talking about, no, it's only going to be Alabama, Georgia. Look, man, if you don't like watching college football be played, why are you here? Like, if you think it's just going to be Alabama, Georgia, what are you doing? Why are you here? Because I saw Coastal Carolina put 59 up on Louisiana Monroe. Coastal Carolina undefeated. Okay? Is Coastal Carolina better than Alabama? I don't know. Would I tell you that they are? Not today. But you know what? I told you that Florida State was a top 25 team too. I'm saying, play the football games. You know, that's what we do. That's what we want. We got the longest offseason in any major American sport. And here you are trying to shorten it. You're trying to shorten the season. Make the offseason longer. Give me more work to do. Instead of talking about these games that matter like week 5. Today was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Give me more days like today. Call them an expanded playoff. Hey, kinfolk, I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe here and ring the bell so you don't miss the latest upload to the channel. Also, be sure to watch more videos here, like FS1 Studio shows and the best from Fox Sports and Fox Sports Digital.